at this point, we really want to get our hands dirty with building the game, creating the game activity, the start menu, and all of that. But before we can do so, we really need some assets. And I'm not going to spend time drawing even programmer art at this point because there is a lot of freely available art we can use. I'm going to show you some tricks. If you go to modules, there's a link collection under the course information module called free game assets. So these are links that I've gathered over the years for all kinds of stuff that is liberally licensed so that you can use these. And for this game, we're making a space shooter, and I'm thinking a side-scrolling space shooter. I'm going to want some 2D sprites for the spaceships, and I want a star field for the start menu. So I'm going under sprites and open game art, which is a great resource. I can search for spaceships, plural, because I want a few different ones so I can use for enemies and the player. I only want 2D art, so I'm going to uncheck a few boxes here. And under these boxes for what type of art, you also have what type of license is okay by you. You're going to have to do some reading up on if you ever need to publish this project, because that's when it becomes important with the licenses. All of these are Creative Commons or the GNU Public License or the lesser GNU Public License. So these are all what we call open source or free software, essentially. They are free to use, but they might have additional restrictions, like the GNU Public License. If you use anything with this license, your finished project must also be made available under that license. It means if you take code or assets under GPL and use it in a project that you then distribute, your distribution must also be made freely available for other people to build on. So it's a pro-social license, but it can be costly for especially commercial developers might have issues with it. We are not publishing anything, so we're safe either way. We're now looking at some free art that we can use. And in fact, immediately I realized there is a list here, spaceships. There looks to be 5 or 6 different versions, and they're from the side, so I'm going to open that in a new tab. There's a bunch of top-down views, but I think I'm going to stick with the side scroller. If you want to make top-down, that's perfectly fine. There's a bunch of really pretty pixel art. Let's see. That seems to be a nice mix, but they are... So I've opened them in new tabs. We can click out here and see. This actually looks really excellent. So looks like some pretty vector art. They are high res enough. We can definitely make use of that. These are teeny tiny. That would be a different game than what I have in mind. So I'm going to ignore that, close the tab down. So yeah, I'm going to stick with this. The Source for Life is the author. So download the zip. I'm just going to put that on my desktop for now. Let's put it here. And here's a trick. Whenever you're using someone's free stuff, things that they've shared with you, make sure to give them credit. It's the nice thing to do. Even if this is free to use, credit never hurts and always helps. So if you're using stuff in your games that you have not made yourself, make sure to give credit. It's also a great life hack for avoiding plagiarism charges, especially in an academic context. As long as there is credits being paid, being made due, you're sort of covering your ass. So I'm just saving this URL, and I'm going to drop out to the desktop and find that zip file. It's over here. I'm going to make a folder and just call that assets. I'll bring the zip file in here. And then I will add a simple text document, credits. And I'm just going to keep this sort of up to date as I download stuff. So Spaceships comes from here. This way, before I publish my game, I can make sure to add this to my credit list and give them the credits they so richly deserve. Let's see what this is. Oh, cool. They've made a few different versions. Let me unzip that. Great. I think I'm going to use these bare bones ones in different colors. Just pick one for the player. Okay, cool. So we have a spaceship. Now we need a star field. So here's another trick. Go to Google and just search for stuff. We do Starfield. You go to images, and then the trick. I want to find the settings for, look at that, usage rights. Let's see, Creative Commons licenses. I am pretty sure that you can open the advanced settings and pick even more detailed selections of what licenses, but Creative Commons is good enough. You can also make sure that you pick something that is relatively high resolution, so you get something you can work with. And then we can just, that looks good. I just want this for the background, so there's going to be a button and a title on top of it. I don't want it to be too much detail, or so more. That's noisy. Let's stick with that first one. It was a pretty, oh, this is excellent. Now, Flickr in particular, you can't just right-click to get anything here. Instead, you have to click this little thing and make sure that you grab the original resolution. So here's our, we grab that, and we go back to our assets. I'm going to put that in and just rename it Starfield. And again, I copy the URL. And at this point, you know, the URL is not the credit. It's just a way for me to find the original asset. And that way I can grab the name of the actual creator and share the link and their name in my game. So, okay, we have spaceships and a starfield. I'm going to open this up in Photoshop to do some work. I'm going to add like the game title or something onto it and continue on in the next video. See you then.